What's going on, YouTube? In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about something that you absolutely have to do whenever you're trying to meet your goals. And that could be financial goals, it can be career-oriented goals, or any other goals that you are trying to pursue in life. And that is learning how to block out all the outside noise. And here's what some of the outside noise actually sounds like. So if you're looking to hit a certain financial goal, then you may have people that come up and say, hey man, you don't want to invest in the stock market right now. It's trending at all-time highs. And at any given point, the market's going to pull back and you're going to get stuck holding the bag. You're going to lose a lot of money because putting money in the stock market is like going to the casino. You put money in, but nobody ever wins. That is very similar to some of the noise that I got whenever I first started talking about wanting to get into this YouTube space to talk about financial content, right? A lot of the comments that I received early on in my journey was around being in the stock market being too risky. Now, if you're looking to start a new career, that noise might sound like, hey man, are you sure you want to do that? If you go and you go back to college, or you go to community college, or you go to a junior college and you have to take out a little bit of debt in order to finance your education or in order to get to the next level, that noise might sound something like, are you sure you want to do that? Because it's going to take your evenings and weekends. Do you really want to have to start studying again? Man, there's no way that I can sit in a classroom again after I graduated from high school or after I graduated from undergraduate or whatever school that person went to. That's what that outside noise sounds like. And I remember I didn't start working on my MBA until I was around 32 years old. I was working a full-time job, and this job was extremely demanding. 40 hours a week was the minimum, right? There was a lot of times that we worked over 50 hours a week. It was in the pharma industry. It was very demanding. And although I look back and I think about all the work that I put in, and some of that was good, I wouldn't change it because it helped shape the person that I am today. My work ethic and my desire to continue to strive for excellence came from that role. But I had a lot of people that said, man, you're working all of these hours. You also have a family. Your wife's probably going to kill you because when you come home from work, not only do you have to go to class, but you have to study. And it's going to cost a lot of money. Now, I will say that when I went to get my MBA at that time, the company that I was working for actually paid 100% towards my MBA, tuition, books, lab fees, everything. So it was a no-brainer for me to actually utilize that role to help me to add to my skill set, which ultimately allowed me to start making a lot more money once I got that MBA. But that's what that outside noise sounded like. And then if you want to start a business, that outside noise sounds like this. Hey man, do you know most small businesses fail within the first 5 years? How are you going to go get clients? Your friends and your family aren't going to support you. So you're going to have to actually get out there and grow your business organically. And I don't know if you're going to be able to do that because you're working full time and you also have a family and it costs a lot of money to get started. Are you sure you want to do that and potentially put yourself in debt? That's what that outside noise sounds like. And whenever you are trying to strive for greatness, and greatness means something different to everyone, right? Greatness doesn't mean the same for me as it's going to mean for you. You have to understand that there's always going to be these outside factors and these outside noise that are going to rise up from time to time. And you have to learn how to actually just tune all that out and continue along your goal of grinding and getting to the bag. So what are some of the things that you can do to tune out that noise? That's inevitable because it's going to come. As soon as you start trying to work towards your goals, there's going to be outside noise and outside factors that come into play. And the very first thing is setting goals at the beginning. So if you're looking at this from a financial perspective, the very first thing that you may do is create a budget. If you've never created a monthly budget to track how much money you have coming into your household and how much is going out on a monthly basis, that's a great way to get started. And then you may say, all right, I have my budget in place. Now I want to learn how to invest in the stock market. So you start going to seminars, you start watching YouTube videos such as the ones that are on my channel. Maybe you get involved in some one-on-one coaching to help you understand how the stock market works and to help you set a strategy on how to invest. Now, once you learn how to invest, you've got your budget in place, and now you're gonna earmark a line item in your budget that's gonna help you to stay on track and invest every single month in the stock market. If you're looking at this from a career perspective, maybe you start looking at some of the roles that are gonna be in high demand in the future. AI is something that is trending, it's here to stay. So maybe you wanna be an AI engineer. Maybe you wanna be a software engineer. Maybe you wanna do something that's in the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, and math. You wanna start figuring out what's your plan from the very beginning. And then once you have your plan, how do you attack it? Do you go to community college or junior college to earn those elective credits so you don't have to go into a lot of debt at a traditional institution in order to achieve that goal that you have? And once you finish those electives at community college or junior college, are you gonna just take a few classes every semester at a traditional 4-year institution so you don't have to go into debt to actually get that degree? Are you gonna start researching the tuition reimbursement plans that your company offers to see if there's any way that you can get assistance that way in order to level up in your career? So these are some of the things that you're gonna be thinking about right out of the gate. The second thing that I would do is I would limit the amount of information that I'm taking from multiple different resources. And what I mean by that, and I often tell people this in my coaching program, is that if you're gonna follow someone, for example, on YouTube, and you wanna follow someone about how to change your career, you don't wanna go out there and take information from 20 different creators, get a little bit of information from this person, get a little bit of information from this person, and then try to piece it all together, because it's probably not gonna work. Most creators in this space and most people that are trying to actually provide knowledge on how to get to where you want to be have very specific plans and steps that work for them. And if you try to take a few steps from this person and a few steps from that person, it's typically not going to mesh well. Your goals are not going to be met, and then you're going to be frustrated. And then you're going to do what a lot of people do, is they quit when they don't see results. When I first started to get serious about understanding the financial space, I limited the amount of information that I got from maybe 2 people, one person on YouTube, and I read a lot of books specifically written by Robert Kiyosaki, because those are the books that resonated with me. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't have information overload from a bunch of different sources. If you're looking to learn how to level up your career, you're looking to level up financially, find 1 or 2 people that you can learn from and try to implement some of the things that they're teaching you, instead of trying to piece together a bunch of different strategies from a bunch of different people. The next thing that I would do is I would protect my environment. And what I mean by that is, once I have a goal in place, I'm only going to be around people that have similar goals and similar interests as I do. If I have people or activities or things that are going on that run counter to what I'm trying to achieve, I'm just gonna cut that out of my life, because what they always say, and you've likely heard this before, you are the sum of the 5 people that you associate with. So if you're hanging out with 5 or 6 people and those people are only worried about going out to the club, they're worried about trending topics, they're not really worried about trying to figure out how to hit goals, then you're likely going to be in a similar boat as them, and you're likely going to be on a similar path as them. And no, I'm not saying that you have to cut off everybody that you've ever known in your past. And no, I'm not saying that you can't hang out with certain people and you got to cut people off. But I just want you to understand that whenever you get serious and you're trying to hit a goal, you have to make sure that you're surrounding yourself in an environment that's going to allow you to succeed. And yes, there may be people that see that you've changed how you've approached things and they no longer want to associate with you. That's completely fine. You have to be extremely comfortable with understanding that your goals and your purpose come first and everything else comes after that. The next thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna schedule time to focus on hitting your goals. This is something that I'm working extremely hard on right now. And even though I understand what it takes to actually succeed, because I've been able to do so in various spaces throughout my life, you have to schedule that time and to be dedicated and to be focused on hitting your goals. That's something that I have at the top of my list that I'm going to be working on extremely hard for the rest of 2025 and going into 2026. So scheduling time to make sure that you can dedicate it to your goals is ultimately going to be the thin line between failing and success. The fifth thing that you're going to do is you're going to track your progress. So if you're looking to level up financially and you've got goals that you've got in place, maybe you want to have an emergency fund that's got $10,000 in it. Maybe you want to have $20,000 saved towards starting a business or investing in real estate. Those are things that are easily trackable, and you could see right there in black and white how close you're getting to your goals. And if it's working, stick with it. If it's not working, maybe you make some tweaks. But the most important thing about changing your plan is give it time to work. Don't change it if it's not working after a month or two. Make some changes to it if it's not working after 6 months or 12 months. Give your plan time to work. Here's the thing, hitting your goals takes a lot of focus, time, effort, and energy. And I truly believe that that's why most people want to achieve something, but then when they see what it's going to take to actually get there, they decide it's not worth it to them. And that's completely fine. We all have to figure out what's worth it to us. And once we find something that's our passion or something that we really want to do, you have to either be all in or all out. You can't be a little bit in and a little bit out because you'll always get mixed results. Yeah, you might have some wins along the way, some successes here or there, but you're never going to be able to hit your full potential. And my personality is, if I want to do something, I want to go all the way in. I want to win. I want to do it to win. I don't want to do it just to get a participation trophy. If you put all these things in motion, yet you're still struggling to try to figure out how to block out the noise, how to make things that seem important to you not seem that important, make sure you check out this book right here. It's one of my favorite books that I've read in a while. I'm actually going to start reading it again. It'll be an audio book that I'm actually listening to as I go on walks throughout my neighborhood. But make sure you check that book out because it gives you a completely different perspective on how to view things, how to not let things get to you, and how to not let things bother you. So check it out. Leave a comment down below. Let me know, have you heard of this book? Have you read this book? And what are your thoughts on it? And what are your thoughts on just blocking out the noise so you can make sure that you have a clear path to hitting your goals?